Let me guess, this is your average morning. You wake up, you instantly open Instagram, YouTube Studio, TikTok notifications. You see your recent video flop. So you press the search button on TikTok, on YouTube, and it starts pissing you off. Because how the hell did this creator, who makes really boring videos, frankly, get 1 million views? Now, I've had the privilege of being friends with many creators with over 1 million followers or subscribers. I've also grown 4 of my own personal accounts on TikTok and Instagram to over 100,000 followers. But I think everything clicked when I had this one conversation that really pissed me off with a friend. And then the next day I woke up and I was just like, I don't really care about today's video. I was so pissed. I just needed to get a message out. And it was this video, and it got 2 million views on TikTok. I filmed it in the span of 5 minutes. I literally just pulled out my iPhone and yapped. And I sat there for the next week just thinking about, why did this video do so, literally 20x of views, 30x of views of any other video that I'd posted for the past month? It had so many comments saying, holy shit, this video is so relatable. This video is so real. This message actually hit. I needed to hear this today. Viewers are human beings. And the most compelling, entertaining version of us that shows up on camera is oftentimes the one that is simply how we naturally are. Yet by overcomplicating the content process with all of these word-for-word scripts that we have to follow, this entire content pillar structure, you have to realize that there are analytically productive thoughts, and there are simply thoughts that are feeding into your own negative self-perception. And this version of us that constantly overthinks about every single possible flaw in our content. Sometimes in life, things doesn't go your way. That doesn't mean that there is some inherent flaw that you just simply don't understand. And the same goes with learning the skill of creating compelling videos that people actually want to watch. There's so many ways you can optimize your editing. There are so many ways you can optimize the hooks and the titles and thumbnails. But every time I speak to a creator who actually knows what they're doing and is growing at a rate that I actually want to reach, they don't approach it with this anxious energy of, holy shit, there's so many things wrong with my video, and oh my goodness, I don't even think I'm gonna hit my goal. Maybe this strategy will be the one that actually gets me to grow. No, maybe this one. They're just simply excited to create, and they have this passion to share, and they make videos about these topics that actually excite them. And yes, they can have some sort of structure to the content, but they often think much less. What I've noticed is that whenever I'm anxiously thinking about my YouTube strategy and I talk to somebody who's actually got over 100,000, 200,000 YouTube subscribers, they're thinking way less than I am about the strategy. How does a YouTuber who's operating at such a higher level think so much less than I do about content strategy? And I have grown the most that I ever have on Instagram this year. This year I went from 50,000 to 240,000, and I spent way less time thinking about the strategy of my videos, and I just simply kept creating what I felt compelled to create. I posted every day. I posted a video probably that took me 2 hours max. Some days I would even post it within just 1 hour. And these short form videos that I spent the least amount of time on, a lot of times got over 100,000, 500,000 views. But the one factor that I was really conscious of this year was managing my emotions and making sure that my emotions and my negative, anxious thoughts of, oh my goodness, my future is relying on my content doing well, I didn't let it spiral. This sounds really fucking corny, but I would journal every single morning. I would read this vision that I would have of me in 5 years being the most prolific, ambitious creator, sharing the most authentic thoughts to the world, and having the most aligned impact that I ever wanted to have on content and in my business. And doing this really silly, illogical exercise where I'm doing these woo-woo manifestations was the one trick that was able to rewire my brain to stop overthinking so hard about the content and simply post content that was genuinely, authentically meaningful to me. And when we make content that is most meaningful to us, not this hyper-curated persona that we're trying to build online of this perfectly welded content strategy that constantly changes every week because we don't have the right strategy. No. When Messi steps on the field, he doesn't fucking angle and trajectory of the curvature of his free kick. He just goes with what is natural to him. Now, I'm not saying that you can just snap your fingers and build that skill set. Obviously, practice is important, but just understand that a lot of times our thinking about content is not actually aiding us, it's actually making us more stressed, and it's not giving us any real answers, because the real answers simply come from posting more videos and getting more data from the algorithm. The answers to the problems don't come from stressing about the problem. It comes from simply doing the actions, which means that instead of spending 8 hours refreshing your inbox, refreshing your YouTube studio, spend those 8 hours reading a book, talking with some friends. Those are oftentimes where the best inspiration is going to come from. If you really want to pour that time into your content, spend 8 hours making the video. Don't spend those 8 hours fucking refreshing your inbox, dude, or your analytics. What is that going to help you with? And whenever I was in my most analytical, anxious state, or I would spend the most time doom scrolling through Instagram, through TikTok, not actually doing the work I wanted to do, I felt the worst. I created the least amount of videos where I would spend 3 days not even posting because I was so stressed about making the perfect video. Spoiler alert, the perfect video doesn't come from simply thinking about it more. It comes from when we're simply energized and in a creative flow, which means you need to do activities that actually put you into a creative flow. Don't do things that stress you out by checking the analytics of your video that flopped, because checking it more times is only going to make you more stressed. And it sounds too good to be true that the most prolific creators simply spend a lot of their time having fun. Let me put it into perspective. Oprah Winfrey, one of the most successful entrepreneurs and operators, spends most of her time in a day reading. She spends like 2 hours a day working. When I've created the most successful content, I spent probably equal amounts of time consuming podcasts and reading books as I did actually plugged into CapCut and putting down my phone and opened with a notes app and scripting. Our best ideas come from the best version of ourselves, so develop the habits that make you the best version of yourself, and let the best ideas come to you and let the execution come in a fun manner. Because another thing too with content, do you really want to watch somebody that hates being on camera? When you suffer through so much stress in your creative process that by the time you actually show up to the camera, you can't even come up with coherent sentences because you're overthinking about everything that everybody's going to think about what you're saying. At every single sentence, you sound like a discombobulated moron, okay? And I'm not saying that to be demeaning. I understand that too. I've spent days where I have literally tried to film for 2 hours straight and I could not sound natural. Then I've had days where I prop down the camera for 3 minutes, filmed the entire video, and it's gotten over 1 million views. So the question I always ask myself is, how can I develop the habits to make me that version of myself that in turn is a more prolific creator, as opposed to trying to squeeze out a viral video from a version of myself that can't even think straight. I hope this was helpful. If you're struggling as a creator, I completely understand. I've been creating content for almost 5 years now, and I've been through the most frustrating times where I felt like I was flopping and my future was doomed. And it always turns out just fine, because content is a long game, and you have to understand, we're not in it to try and blow up in the next month, because what are you gonna do after you blow up this next month? You wanna be able to do this with longevity in the next 5 years because you love doing it. So stop killing the thing that you love with all this stress about it not working. Trust in the process and the answers will come to you. Alright, see y'all next time. Bye bye.